What up, Bulls Nation? We've got a live CHGO Bulls pod coming up for y'all right around the corner. On today's show, Bulls Summer League official roster just dropped moments ago. We're going to break that down. Plus, it's our first Arena Club slab pack reveal. We're going to open some basketball cards together. It's going to be fun. Plus, a bunch of Noa Essengue draft grades from around different media outlets covering the NBA draft. We're going to break them down. Good news, guys. A lot of positive grades. We'll talk about it next. Bulls Nation, welcome into the CHGO Bulls podcast. Coming to you live from various locations here on Thursday afternoon, July 3rd, 4th of July Eve. I'm Peck, Bulls _ Peck. That over there is Big Dave, bam, BWL Sports. That over yonder is Will Davo Gottlieb, Will _ Gottlieb, perfectly coiffed as always. And, of course, behind the scenes, Queen of the Controls, Katie Duffy. Oh, go with the tussle out of the gate. Oh,
what is happening over there? Jesus.
Is that Goat's universal sign for I need a haircut?
I do need a haircut, but I'm not getting one for whatever reason. It's out of my control at this point.
Out of your control. Gentlemen, how we doing? Big Dave, how you doing, buddy?
Oh, I'm chilling, man. Just ready for the weekend to start. Long weekend. So, yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
Oh, yeah. I, as you can tell, probably have already engaged. Summer Peck is here. Uncle Matt is here. It's a good time.
But it's a good look. Break down the Chicago Bulls summer league Vegas roster because
that's right.
Is huge news happening right now. Emergency podcast.
Yeah, it was tough to explain how important this news is to my nieces. Who we were playing Calvin ball in the backyard moments ago, and I think that that's more important. But here we are. We're going to talk about it. Let's dive in. A lot of familiar names on this Bulls Summer League roster that was revealed just a few moments ago. Of course, headlined by last year's breakout rookie and the hope of the franchise, Modest Buzelis, who the team said is going to play at least one game in Summer League. He will be there. Their 12th overall pick from the NBA draft last week, Noa Essengue. Another familiar name, and a name I'm happy to see, Javon Freeman-Liberty. Got some run with the Raptors, I think maybe a couple seasons ago, but has been not only a Summer League staple for the Bulls over the last several years, but has also rejoined the Windy City Bulls for their most recent season. You also got two-way name Jameer Young in there, and a couple of others. Emmanuel Miller, of course, also another two-way contract name that is familiar. And then a bunch of names that are not super familiar and hilarious and make me think that they are made up from the East-West College Bowl Key and Peele sketch. So we can break down some of the other lesser-known ones and give some context there, but gentlemen, just aside from Modest and Noa Essengue, well, what names are you excited to see here?
I mean, this is the easy answer. Wooga Poplar. What else are we here for? That's who I'm trying to check out. Did you see that amazing name? Incredible name. Who else do I want to see?
Oh, yeah, Wooga, yeah.
For real, bro. That's who I want to see. I believe he's out of Miami, if I'm not mistaken. But
he's out of Villanova.
Played at Nova.
Okay, Nova. Excuse me.
He did go to Miami, though, actually.
Obviously, Modest you want to see. Yeah, obviously Modest you want to see. And hopefully that's just for a game. You know what I'm saying, too. I don't think I need to see a lot. It's just to reinforce, I think, how we feel about him and just him, just getting some run, you know what I'm saying, to get some actual guys who will be in the NBA or who are competing to be in the NBA. So that's always a good thing. And Modest is very competitive. So we'll see if the Bulls have to kind of, pull him back, because I'm sure Modest wants to play more games. And I'm sure the Bulls are slow down, Spartacus, chill on out for a second. And we'll see how that goes. But obviously the rookies, I'm very, excited to watch and see the first and second round pick. Because the second round pick, I don't really feel anything about that young man yet. From the highlights I saw, I purposely didn't watch anything on him because I said, I just want to form my full opinion on him in the summer league and what I see him do there. So that's what I'll be focused on with him. But Essengue, for sure, like absolutely, I'll be watching him. I'll be rooting for Javon Freeman Liberty as I always am. And just glad that young man is continuing to get opportunities in the NBA. He's always played well in the summer league. So I think that's going to continue. But yeah, bro, it's all about Wooga for me. Like, that's who I'm after. I'm trying to check him out. Like, Caleb Grill might, raise an eyebrow or two for me also just because of the name. But I'm here for that Wooga life, sir. That's what I'm in here for.
Yeah, Wooga Poplar and Caleb Grill, I believe, are the 10 Exhibit 10 contracts that have signed so far. And as a reminder, those are training camp invites that can come in. We saw Kenneth Love Jr. on that THT. Actually, Taylor Horton Tucker was on an Exhibit 10 last year, I believe, and then played his way onto the roster. So we'll see how they look. To me, it's obviously all about Modest, especially in that first game. The hope, if you're the Bulls organization, he scores like 30 points in the first game and is dominating. He's creating his own shot. He's like dunking on people. He's hitting everything. And he just looks like he is way too good to be playing in this setting. And then the Bulls are like, yeah, this guy's awesome. We're not good anymore. You're done. For Summer League, you can play slots or whatever. Is he 21? Can he go into the casino yet? I'm not sure. But he's not playing. We're wrapping him up in bubble wrap, and we're not going to play him anymore because he is showing that he is a foundational piece for our future. So that's typically the way it goes for like the guys who are showing good signs in summer league. And we hope that is the case with Modest. And if he wants to come back on the podcast this year, summer league, he's always welcome. Obviously, also want to see Noa Essengue, another just like situation where he's played in the German league, which, as we talked about the other day, is like a physical league. It's like grown men, but it's explosive in terms of like vertical. And so I'm curious to see what he looks like in contrast to that. Does he still really pop to where like he's going to be an elite athlete even at the NBA level? Because I think that's really what you want to see when you're picking a guy based on his physical tools and his athleticism. So hopefully he's able to put some points on and just look good, look like he fits in and like the game is not moving too fast around him. But it's just going to be a good period of evaluation for him. And I think this is an opportunity for him to obviously get his feet wet in like an NBA or NBA adjacent setting, but also to show like how far away he is. Like I talked about him as a project. If he's like good and dominant against some of these other teams, then like maybe he's not so much of a project. So I'm curious to see kind of what his progress looks like, because it's always hard to evaluate guys in college and, obviously overseas, but that's going to be a big one. And then there's a couple other names. You guys mentioned Javon Freeman Liberty. He has been awesome within Summer League in the past. The Bulls did not sign him. He went to the Raptors for a year, came back. He was on Windy City last year. So he's been in Chicago playing in his hometown. The Exhibit 10 guys we talked about, Caleb Grill and Wooga Poplar. And then the two-way guys, Jameer Young, Emmanuel Miller, and Lachlan Olbrich. We're going to see what they are. But the other thing that I think stands out to me is Yuki Kawamura, the Grizzlies for the majority of last year. He is like this super tiny, I think he's like 5'8" point guard. And he's just like a lot of fun. He's got a great personality, and it's always fun to root for guys that are like normal human being sized. So he can maybe help set up some of these players along with Javon Freeman, where, as we've talked about before, modest kind of like play finisher types. Can you add some point guardsmanship in there to where you're creating easy shots for them, helping boost their confidence, getting them easy looks, and start expand their skill set that way. So there are actually some interesting names on this roster I'm excited to see, but really it's all about Modest. Hopefully he looked in game one and then is done. And really, like, I think he's going to play the whole time, but like it would be awesome to see him really look down.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I want Modest to play every single game. I want him to average 30, 15, and 5. And by 5, I mean blocks. He could have some assists too if he wants. But I want Modest to go to Summer League, play every game like he's Nikola freaking Jokic, okay? Yeah. Also, obviously, very happy to see JFL in there. Just been a staple and a great representation of the Bulls organization in his various ways over the years. The other name you mentioned their 55th pick overall, second rounder, Lachlan Olbrich, GOAT, who we do know is in Chicago with Noa Essengue. The Bulls do their classic rookies like boat summer tour where they, lure them into this false sense of security in June. Like, oh my God, Chicago's beautiful. It's like, yeah, brace yourself for February, Australian man. But the other interesting wrinkle to Lachlan Olbrich being on the Summer League roster is one of his NBL teammates who they just won the championship together. Shout out, brother Dave, walking behind the background. What's his name? William Hickey. Katie, I don't know if you have the screen grab of that ESPN Australia reporter. There it is. Thank you. Will Davo Hickey, he has a nickname, will play for the Bulls in Summer League. Dynamic 6'5" Australian guard who averaged 10-5, 4.3 assists for the title-winning Illawarra Hawks for the NBL last season, a standout in their championship series. That, of course, means he's reuniting with former Hawks teammate and fellow NBL champion Lachlan Olbrich in Vegas. So we got our second-round picks teammate from the NBL championship roster coming over and joining the Summer League team. Guys, it's like, do we have to have 50% of our roster being represented by Australia moving forward? Is that what we're working towards?
I mean, Luke Longley will be proud.
I mean, dude's got a solid resume.
Find wherever you can. If it's all from Australia, that's get the talent in the door. That's my motto.
Yeah, it's Summer League time. Like you're okay with, just everybody kind of getting an opportunity and everybody kind of getting a chance out there. So wherever you find them and however you find them, I'm completely all right, with seeing those guys out there on the floor. That's when I first found out about Quentin Grimes was in the Summer League and sitting there watching him, and he was dominating the Chicago Bulls when I was sitting there watching it. And I was like, oh, wow, this guy looks like he's pretty good. And I remember it well because Tibbs was coaching Summer League, which is when I knew he was absolutely insane. Like, why is this dude out here coaching Summer League? This is crazy. But yeah, man, like you just want to see all these young guys get a shot and get a chance, because it's one of those few times where more eyes will be on them, especially at a time where, people will be there for Cooper Flagg. People will be there for Ace Bailey. People will be there for VJ Edgecombe. So there'll be more eyes on them here than probably a Windy City game. So guys like Emmanuel Miller, who signed that 2-way contract with the Bulls, he'll get that opportunity. Guys like Jameer Young, you know what I'm saying? Like another local guy will get more opportunity and more eyes on him. So it could help further certain guys' careers of just being out there on the floor and performing. So yeah, whoever you are from wherever you are, this is a great way to get your opportunity and your name out there through the NBA Summer League.
Can I make one quick, I don't know if complaint is too strong, but just observation about the roster that I feel like I've talked about this before, but like with these two spots, with Summer League, exhibits, you want to be like churning guys in and out. Like you want to be testing them out, getting them into the building, seeing what they look like against your roster. And then if they're looking good, then you keep them around. And if not, you move on from them and bring the new crop of guys in. And I think especially what you want to do is look at younger guys. What strikes me about this roster is the fact that like you look at the data, like with the exception of Modis and Essengue, who are the youngest players in this roster, it's a lot of 1999, 2000, 2001 birthdays. And that's like not the end of the world. It's like 24, 25-year-olds. But like the two-way guys even are Emmanuel Miller was born in 99, in 2000. So he's 25 years old. Jameer Young was born in 2000. He's 25 years old. It's just upside. Usually you find that in 19, 20-year-olds. And guys are typically pretty fully formed by 24, 25. And that's why I always say like, experience matters, but also because like Arturas has said, we're bringing in guys that are all 25 and under. Just because they're young in that sense doesn't mean that there's a lot of upside left. I feel that way about Isaac Okoro. He's 25, he's young, but like he's been in the league for 5 years. We kind of know what he is. And I think at a certain point, what some of these guys are in the G League. It would be nice, I think, if the Bulls had a couple. Noa Essengue is the second youngest player in the league now behind Cooper Flagg. He was born in 2006. Modis is born in 2004. but he's the second youngest player. He's had a full year of NBA experience. I wish that they would have gotten in some younger players to really keep that upside process.
I think it's a fair grief. We got to knock out our first couple ads right here. When we come back, we're going to open an Arena Club slab pack. It's going to be fun. Hit the like button while we're reading ads. Do it. Subscribe too. Today's show brought to you by Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Sunnyside's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. It's your one-stop shop for all of your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu featuring over 100 different strains to choose from, plus they offer easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Get in, get out, get on with your summer day. They know you'll love all kinds of wonderful brands to choose from, like Cresco, FloraCal, Good News, and Mindy's. Right now, visit sunnyside.shop for Bright Buys every day and get 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Just use promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 and older and Illinois Med card holders. Also, existing customers use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Labs brand item.
Barbecue, drinks, good music, and Chicago. That's what you need. And you can get it all at the Windy City Smokeout, ladies and gentlemen, without a doubt. And guess what? It's back here. July 10th through the 13th. We're talking 4 full days of country music, ice cold drinks, and that award-winning barbecue. All of it that your stomach can handle. Seriously, nothing beats an outdoor concert in Chicago in July. And if you haven't grabbed your tickets, Thursday and Friday are still available. Some of country's biggest stars like Billy Zimmerman, Old Dominion, and big shout out to Dylan Gossett. They will all be lighting up the stage, ladies and gents. Don't miss out on the best weekend of the summer. Grab your tickets for Thursday and Friday right now at WindyCitySmokeout.com.
And we are back rolling along CHGO Bulls live on Thursday afternoon, the day before 4th of July. Having a fun time. Hit that like button if you didn't do it during the ad break. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. And right now, Bulls Nation, it's time for this new segment called Cards from the Vault, sponsored, of course, by our new friends at Arena Club. If you are looking to buy, sell, trade, or rip open a pack of cards, Arena Club is changing the card collecting game with their transparent slab packs and no-fee auctions. Right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/CHGO with promo code CHGO. All right, so I just created an account for myself the other day, and shout out to Arena Club for providing some dollar bills for their podcast hosts and partners to dive into this. And now, Dave, I don't know about you guys, if you were big basketball card collectors like in your youth. I was gung-ho. Every single dollar I could scrap together, mowing lawns for people in the neighborhood, doing whatever else, I spent on basketball cards. There is a giant pile of them collecting dust in the garage here at the Peck Mish house as we speak that my mom keeps like nagging me about. I'm like, no, they live there until I want to revisit them. I will never sell them ever. I've got probably close to 100 Michael Jordan cards, lots of other Bulls, now also, small flex. I've got a bunch of autograph Will Purdue cards in my collection as well. Everybody needs some of those. But so this is modernized basketball card collecting, and I'm really curious to dive into it and see all of the different ways the rabbit hole can go. I got myself a gold basketball slab pack earlier today. Haven't opened it yet. We are going to open it together and find out. Gentlemen, are you ready?
All right, ready to do it. Let's go.
All right, Katie, let's reveal the slab pack and see what we got. Ooh, look at this graphics package we got here. I'm sucked in. What are we? A LeBron James?
Oh, wow.
Come on.
There you go. Just for you.
First card you give me is a LeBron.
Of course. What do you mean?
PSA 9, though. That's
greatest
pretty
players
good.
ever.
I mean, yeah, that's a very gorgeous LeBron James card, but why? Of all players, my first Arena Club card is a LeBron James. Man, I mean,
feels right.
Okay. But the good news is you can probably sell it for a lot of money because it's PSA 9. You got. That's a great pull.
The other cool thing about Arena Club, you can, you have like your vault of different cards that you can collect. You can trade with people, and all, of course, done through their website, online and digitally. I do like the shimmer of a rare card from back in the old days of opening up a pack, you always get excited. Maybe you like flip to the back to see which one you get. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When you open these slab packs, you're going to find at least one of these. They call them grail cards. So you're going to get some commons and whatnot, but you're going to get one card at least every single pack that is like a legit blue chip value card, which I think is really cool. I'm still not thrilled that the first pack I opened was a LeBron,
but it's all about the trades, man. Like I was all
Right.
about the trades when I was little and trading cards. So I still remember some great deals I made as a youth, bro, on some cards. I ended up with a David Robinson rookie on some Bears player who doesn't even exist anymore, like in the realm of people's minds. So yeah, I'm about that life, bro. I am definitely about that life for sure.
The other thing, and I know that there are a bunch of these in these packs too, is like towards the end of my collecting days in my teen years, when they started to get really creative with cards, like you would have a card that they built like a piece of NBA game used netting into, or like a piece of hardwood, or even like the leather from a basketball. I think I have a Tim Duncan that has a little piece of like a game used NBA basketball like leather on it. And those are also really cool. But I was like, this, it doesn't fit into the casing as well. You need like a thicker, wider case to get to some of those really rare cards that have like artifacts built into them.
Yeah,
You should you should bring out the cards in the closet over there. We should take a look at those on the show day.
It's been on my to-do list for a while to go and sift through them and just revisit. Like the last time I dug through my card collection is when Dave, you and I were back working at NBC, and I was like, I need to find all of my Will Purdue's, all of my Horace Grants, and I need to get our pals to sign and all of my Kendall Gills. I also have probably 24 autographed Kendall Gill basketball cards now too.
Oh yeah, I remember that for sure. Like that was a cool day because I remember I walked up and I showed them all the cards and I laid them out on the table in that conference room and I was like, "Yep, you sign." And then the next day, Matt came with all his cards for everybody to sign and do that. And then when Horace Grant was there, I showed up with my cards. Like, "Yep, Horace Grant, I'm getting you too. Like, I need your stuff as well." So, yeah, man. Like, yeah, about that. Like, yeah, it was really cool. Like, it was just really, really cool. I've got a ton of cards. Like, they're still in the plastic, they're still in the package, in the binder, for sure. Like, I take pretty good care of them, man. I love those cards.
Do you ever get, like the Arena Club cards all, come into like the fancy, like super hard case with like the official grading of like mint? Like I just saw somebody in the comments talking about mint 10 or whatever. Did you ever do any of that with your cards? Because I never did. Like I would
never
look
did
at
none
their
of that.
value in the old what were they called? Beckett card like magazines where it was like literally every player every year, Tops, Upper Deck, Fleer, whichever one, Hoops. You could find the exact to the cent value of these cards, right? And I would get the hard but like soft plastic cases that you would put your cards in and get I would take only the sticky part of Post-it notes and cut tiny little squares, rectangles, and write in a pen the dollar amount value on them, slap it on the outside of the case and feel really fancy and be like, I am a millionaire. Look at all of these cards I have that are worth $1 and $2 and even $3.
I tell you what, the best cards I have, I didn't buy myself. My aunt, rest her soul, she bought me some minor league baseball cards when I was a kid. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with some minor league baseball cards? And then I remember looking at them like 10 years later. And I mean, I have a minor league rookie Derek Jeter card, and I have a minor league Manny Ramirez and Chipper Jones and just all these greats, you know what I'm saying? Like just up and down the roster in there. And I was just like, oh yes, I love you. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? Play the long game, kids. Play the long game. It's not about who's hot right now. Play the long game, baby.
What do you mean you don't know what to do with them, Dave? You can carry them around in your pocket to show out to people while you're wearing your gigantic collection of minor league baseball team hats.
Look,
I feel like those go hand in hand.
Those things don't leave the box. They leave the box. When I found out who I had, they're in the box forever. All right, those ain't going nowhere. All right, they will never touch a pocket ever.
What about you, Go? Were you a basketball card collector?
I was more of a Pokemon card kid growing up.
Pokemon!
I did have some basketball and baseball cards. I don't really remember too much in terms of the sports cards, but I mean, there's literally nothing better than like going through all your cards and like making trades as a kid on the ground. Like that's just the best. And so it's cool that coming out with new ways to do that digitally And especially like you look back at some of them, why is this like Scottie Pippen card crumbled up? Like, what was I doing as an 8-year-old? And like, that's just not going to happen when you're on the Arena Club.
Nope. Katie just threw into the comments, crazy that they're not mentioning the cards I made for each of them. Okay, I actually thought about those recently, Katie. Katie, a very kind, sweet, and time-consuming
Mine's
project.
on my fridge. I love it.
She made basketball-style cards for all of us with our pictures on them and like stats on them. Like I have like a hat-throwing stat on mine. But Katie, I don't think I told you. Y'all remember I told you a few months back I lost my wallet somehow? Like I never lose anything, but I lost my wallet. But like leaving office, stopping at a convenience store, and going home. I was carrying my Katie made Peck basketball card in my wallet, the wallet that I lost. So, Katie, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to make me a new one. Make me a copy. I hope you didn't delete whatever you used to create that, because I would like, that was what I was most upset about when I lost my wallet. I was like, I can cancel credit cards and have them send me new ones. No big deal. I'll even order a new driver's license. But like, I lost that card and I was devastated.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. I'll make you a new one.
Thank you, please, because those are super cool. The most valuable card.
I've got mine in my fridge. It's got like a bunch of stats about how many times I say per episode and other funny jokes like that. I love it.
Dysfunctional saying, Matt, go buy an AirTag, bro? ? No, I never lose shit. Dysfunctional is also happy. I think because you mentioned the Pokemon collecting, because I think I saw him talking about Pokemon earlier in the chat. I was not a Pokemon. I think like Pokemon was just becoming popular as I was kind of phasing out of my card collecting, whether it be basketball or otherwise. But I was the Pokemon guy. I'm old school and a big ass nerd. So I was a Magic the Gathering guy. Still am. Like that's another collection.
I never got into the friends whose older siblings were into that, and I just didn't get it.
Brother Dave taught me how to play, and like Brother Dave has some cards in his Magic the Gathering collection that are like first and second gen Magic the Gathering cards. Like, you know, he doesn't have any of those. Like I think Black Lotus, those are the ones where like people on YouTube post a video of them opening a pack. Those sell for like tens of thousands of dollars. But yeah, I mean, I still play sometimes with my friends. We're huge MTG nerds, and Pokemon was just what was the other one? There was like Pokemon and another one.
Yu-Gi-Oh was the other one.
Yu-Gi-Oh,
Professor was mentioning. Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, I think I had some Yu-Gi-Oh cards too, but I didn't really know much about them. I like watch the animes growing up, but I was really mostly Pokemon.
Dr. Professor said he was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh guy than a Pokemon guy, dueling with people after school. Dysfunctional said the Magic the Gathering kids scared me. Well, there was none. I mean, we were definitely
they still scare me,
but I gotta teach y'all to play sometime. It's so fun.
I would love to learn. I never really knew about it.
It's very interesting. My friends and I would like go and like play in tournaments back in the day too, like in our high school, like our teenage years. People get really but yeah, no, I mean like basketball card collecting. I'm gonna like dabble around in this Arena Club app and see what else they got going on, and I might get into it a little bit, but it's just something that I was upset. Yeah, I got a LeBron to start, but great news, Dave, I can trade or sell that, and they tell you the value, like they even offer you like a base price offer to buy it back or to sell to somebody else.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Who would you what Bulls player's card would you trade for that LeBron James card?
Say that again?
What Bulls player's card would you trade for that LeBron James card?
I don't even know if I have a sarcastic answer. Like our pal C Red Fred gave me a Denzel Valentine card back in the day that I don't know don't know what happened to it. It may have gotten thrown out, but would I trade that Denzel for a LeBron card? No. Like I don't even know if I have any LeBron cards in my collection. He got drafted what, 2003? I was kind of phasing out of my basketball card collecting days at that point. So I don't need any LeBrons in my card. So shout out to Arena Club. I will be looking to trade and or sell that one and get a card of a player I like more. All right, we're gonna knock out a couple more ads here. When we come back on the other side, we're gonna talk about a bunch of different draft grades handed to the Bulls for selecting Noa Essengue in the 25 draft last week. A lot of A's and B's, guys. We'll break it down next. Hit the like. Today's show brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 on anything, win or lose. Just use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Also, basketball might be over, but plenty of baseball happening this summer. And with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes 5 runs ahead at any point with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Just download that app. And again, be sure to use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up. Must be 21 and older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only.
Rules of life, ladies and gentlemen. There's only one that you really need to follow this July 4th weekend. Don't touch the quaff. Leave it alone. Don't do anything to it. And one major one that you should always have is don't get biffed. Don't go to the big box store and try to talk to a 16-year-old who has no idea what to tell you about floors. Stay at home. Get that shop at home convenience you only get from Empire Today. They've got flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who deal with flooring every single day of the week. With Empire Today, you get that clear upfront all-inclusive pricing and can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Free in-home estimate. You can schedule it today because there are some things that are at home. CHGO listeners, $350 discount is what you can receive by using that code CHGO. That's $350 discount with the code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit empiretoday.com/CHGO for full details. 588-2300. Peck!
Empire
Today.
Go with the delayed today. Dramatic effect pause. We roll along here, CHGO Bulls, on Thursday afternoon. Hit the like button if you didn't do it during the ad break, or Katie will sleep under your bed until you do. Actually, she won't be sleeping under your bed. She will be alert and lurking, ready for pouncing while you are sleeping. Shout out to our guy JR from GR, aka Flipside, in the comments, referencing my Denzel Valentine card comment from earlier. He said that's a great card to put in your bike spokes. I totally forgot about putting cards in bike spokes when we were kids. Just making that noise.
Yeah, we weren't doing that.
And speaking of the Bull, that's right, Jake Vander, Summer League roster announced. We talked about that in our first segment. If you're joining us late, you can go back and rewind after we're done and listen to that. We'll talk about the Summer League roster more in the coming days and weeks as we head to Vegas a week from Friday. But Denzel Valentine, not on the Summer League roster, guys. I guess that means they are not taking Summer League championship seriously anymore. It's a damn shame.
It is, man. It was a wonderful time winning that championship. That was, what a glorious time. Shout out Bobby Portis as well, who was on that team.
You know it. Guys, I don't know if you knew this, but the only people who say Summer League championships don't mean anything are people who have never won one before. I know it. That's true. Denzel. What a legendary quote, man. All right, so moving on. Speaking of somebody who will be playing in the Summer League for the Bulls next week, can't wait to see him cook. Their 12th overall pick from last week, Noa Essengue, the French product who has been playing professionally in Germany. Shout out to Coach. Remind me of his name, Dave, who we talked to on our show earlier this week, who gave us some insights on him.
Roman
Lecroy.
Correct.
Go give that interview a listen from our show earlier this week. So Noa Essengue, we've collected a bunch of different grades from a bunch of different NBA media outlets, grading the pick. Some of them, they graded him and Olbrich together as a pick. Some of them was just more focused on Essengue. But I see a trend in a lot of the evaluations and explanations of these grades. So, Katie, let's just start by taking a look at some grades from different outlets. We've got a B- from Yahoo Sports, an A- from ESPN, and a couple of B+ from CBS Sports and Sports Illustrated. Guys, were you surprised pleasantly that their grades were this high? Because we've kind of already talked ourselves about, hey, this is kind of a big swing pick. Very young, second youngest player in the draft behind Cooper Flagg. Going to be a bit of a project that the Bulls need to hopefully successfully develop for maybe a few years before he turns into like a real NBA player. And taking that into account, these grades are still as high as they are. Go, what do you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it just as the pick itself, I think it was a really good pick. Like I think I gave it a B or two. And I think it was like the right pick at the right time, right? You look at who was on the board. Obviously, Queen was available, and I think a lot of fans were upset about that. I like Queen as a prospect, but I just have questions about him in general. And I feel like while Essengue is a pretty risky pick for his own reasons, the Bulls just like can't afford to miss on a guy who's like a no 3, no D center who like not good enough, is just not going to play. Like Essengue, I think he's going to be really raw, but like if the offense comes around, I think the defense will be good enough to give him at least some sort of a floor out there. And I just feel like when you have one pick every year and it's 12th overall, 11th overall, like you can't afford to miss on that. And I think it'd be great to be able to take a swing on a guy who had like real star upside, but you're not getting 12. You're getting that in the top 5. And so you take the big swing, you bring in Okoro, who is like a floor raiser type. And I think those things kind of offset a little bit to help stay afloat this year, which is what they want to do. But also to give themselves some real upside down the road. So I think a lot of the analytical models like Essengue, his steals, his blocks, his vertical testing, standing reach, huge wingspan, tall, super young, I think really benefits him as well. So it does not surprise me that he is where he is. I think in terms of grade, the reason why there would be any reduction in grade coming from anyone is having to do with the pick that got traded up to 13, right? That New Orleans pick, better of Pelicans and Bucks, unprotected next year. And Shamit Dua, who does a great job covering the Pelicans independently on his Substack, wrote an incredible article with some really good reporting in that today about just how crazy of a trade that was and how executives are talking about this as like one of the craziest, like worst trades in recent memory. I mean, like we're about this on the same level as the Nets Celtics trades that ended up getting them Tatum and Brown. Obviously, it's not going to be quite that bad because it was only one pick, but like that could be easily the number 1 pick in the draft next year. And so for the Bulls to not engage with that, I think is really the issue more than Essengue himself, because I like Essengue. I think he's going to be he's a worthy swing, I'll say. Like I don't know what he's going to turn into, but I think he's a worthy swing on upside for that point of the draft.
Yeah, I'm not shocked at the Bs. I think the A- from ESPN was surprising to me. So when I first saw it, I went and looked and saw, what they were talking about, why they kind of felt that way. And it was more so being intrigued with the idea of pairing Noah with Modest.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with that aspect of it, because that's what intrigues me so much, is those two young men together, just having two tall guys that tall and that kind of skill, on your team is basically what you want in today's NBA. And so that's what makes it exciting. And they also gave them credit for being the best player available, which I thought was an interesting statement when they said that. Because not that Noah wasn't, it's just I didn't look at him as such. And I'm just saying, me personally didn't look at him as such, where there were much smarter people than me that definitely looked at him as that kind of player at number 12 for sure. So yeah, like I'm excited for the Bulls to actually be talked about in the national media landscape in a positive light, and it's not just backhanded compliments, even though they did throw a bunch of them. If you read a few of these grades, as to say, well, a team that's not trying to bottom out, but hey, they did good. So they did throw a couple of them in there, but just to start it off by saying, hey guys, you did good. Congratulations on doing good is honestly a good feeling. You know what I'm saying? For a Bulls fan like myself to actually hear about this front office who has been taking a bunch of body blows and a bunch of punches to the face for certain moves they didn't make, including the one Will Gottlieb just mentioned. Because I think the hope is, if you passed on that kind of trade and Essengue turns out to be a guy, then it's okay that you've passed on this. But for me, it's like, what does that pick turn into before I can start really kind of answering, that kind of question? And it's not for me right now about Essengue. It's like, what is that pick going to be like? And I'm more worried about that. But regardless, man, they're being talked about in a positive light, which is a good thing. And they're using logic as to why they're being talked about in a positive light, which is a great thing. So I'm very happy that the Bulls are being spoken about like this. And yeah, I like the pick as well.
We got some fans in the chat offering up their grades for the Bulls draft. Rob gave him a B. Dr. Professor, solid B for the pick, although process of not accepting a potential trade is a D, referencing, again, the Pelicans trade up to 13 and offering up that unprotected. Meanwhile, Omar, I'll give the draft a big fat F, another project. So we got grades all over the place. Bulls fans equal pissed fans, so D minus, says Travis.
And that's another thing about the pick and the subsequent acquisition of Okoro that is like a little confusing to me, because again, we talked about like the multiple timelines going on this team, and it just like Eversley comes as, okay, we're gonna like not cut corners, we're gonna be patient, we're gonna focus on internal development, but then and you draft the 18-and-a-half-year-old who's got like a ton of upside, great. But then you have an opportunity to turn Lonzo into picks. And we don't know what was out there for them this time, but like that wasn't something that they did. They didn't go for a young player. They went for a 25 who, again, is like middle of his prime. Like that's when players are who they are. And I'm not like saying there's anything wrong with Okoro. Like I think he's a fine player. It doesn't match up with what else they've said and how they're talking about building this team. And so for me, it's like, what am I supposed to believe when you sit here and say one thing and then you do the other, but then you do the other thing and like there's no explanation for it. So I get that they are trying to stay young. I get that they are trying to invest in the future, but it seems like they're going about this on the 25-year-old timeline, which is like Kobe, Ayo, and Okoro. And then you've got like the Noa Essengue timeline, and Giddey's kind of the bridge in the middle, but it's like, what are you really building for? The thing that is confusing about this, or the reason why it's important, is because you're talking about like building your team forward and like putting a roster together that makes sense. And Dave, you guys were just talking about this with Ed and Salim on Bulls Gold, like making sure that when your guys are ready to go, they have the right foundation around them. And it just feels like shuffle chairs a little bit in that sense. And I think it's important to get those upside swings when you have them. So again, I'm in favor of this pick. It's just like, it would be better, in my opinion, to see everything line up where there's one timeline you're investing in, you're selling off pieces to get more assets to invest in that same timeline. And all of the decisions that you're making are clearly like supporting that one direction. And you're all pulling in that same direction. You're all moving towards the same end goal. But when you have like all these different things that are pulling in different directions, it's just hard to get in any one place. Like they're rowing against each other. And I just don't know where it's going to end up in that sense. And like, is having 25-year-olds and 20-year-olds such a big problem? No, like no team, even the Thunder, who are a young team, they're the youngest team to win a championship ever, I think, right? Like they have veterans, they have 26-year-olds, and they have Caruso, who's 31. He's like the oldest one on the team, but like you need vets. So I'm not saying that you can't, like everybody needs to be the same age. They all need to be 19, but there's like an active investment into finding players who are 25 while also having this investment into players that are 19. And it's hard to support both of those things at once, especially when you have a coach like Billy Donovan who wants to win today. And that's the organizational mandate. And you're not even going to like, I don't know what's going to happen with Essengue, but I imagine he's not going to play quite as much in the same vein as much. So it's interesting to kind of see how all these things are pulling against one another.
Real quick shout out to Yokara in the chat, who said, you guys have the best coverage of the Bulls by far. Best wishes from Switzerland. Right back at you with those best wishes. Shout out Switzerland. I wonder what the Bulls fan population of Switzerland is compared to like the full population of Switzerland. Like, where there's huge, swarms of Bulls fans in certain countries, certain areas. They're big in Australia, obviously. They're huge in Brazil. Shout out Felicio. But I wonder, Yokara, if you're still hanging out in the chat, let us know how many fellow Switzerland Bulls fans you know and are talking to on the regular. That's on my bucket list of places to go visit. Never have you guys been to Switzerland ever? I
haven't.
Love to go.
I know someone from there who's awesome. Shout out to her. But yeah, dude, like, yeah. From what I've seen and what I've been told about Switzerland is awesome.
I was about to call out Katie from our private sidebar chat, but I'm not gonna because we love Switzerland, don't we? All right, let's knock out a couple last ads. We'll come back. I want to get into some more thoughts offered up by these draft grades on Noa Essengue. There's a common theme. We could talk about it. Hit the like while we share some ads.
Ads.
Today's show brought to you by Arena Club. Are you looking to buy, sell, trade, or rip open packs of cards? Arena Club is changing the card collecting hobby with their transparent slab packs and no-fee auctions. You got to check out these slab packs, y'all. You can rip a pack for as low as $25 and hit on a card that's worth tens of thousands of dollars. And the kicker is every pack has grails, as they call them, that are at least 20 times the price of the pack itself. Arena Club is the most trusted name in the game, y'all. Plus, they are going to be at the 45th National Sports Collectors Convention right here in the Chicagoland area, Donald E. Stevens Convention Center in Rosemont, Illinois. Be sure to stop by the Arena Club booth and check out their great products and deals. And right now, you can get 20% off your first slab pack or card purchase by going to arenaclub.com/CHGO with promo code CHGO.
You know, making money moves should be just like Summer Peck. Should be simple and very, very smooth. And guess what? That's why there is Cash App. There's no extra hoops to jump through. There's no extra stress. There are no woozies. And of course, only for Will Davo Gottlieb, there are no wazies. And of course, for a limited time only, new Cash App users can use this exclusive code to earn some extra cash. For real, it's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use this exclusive code CHGO Bulls in your profile. Send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. You're lying. I'm not. Terms apply. That's money, ladies and gentlemen. That's Cash App.
And we're back, rolling along. CHGO Bulls live Thursday afternoon. Hit the like button if you didn't do it during that ad break. All right, guys. So with these grades, and this is the thing about draft grades right after the draft happens. So much of this is still unknowable and will be for a while. Like grading A's and B's for the Bulls taking Noah should make you feel pretty good as a Bulls fan. Because like the other, like if it's a bunch of D's and F's, then you are already worried that they screwed this up. Like, for example, the way the Pelicans seemingly screwed up draft night. But again, like if they put Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen together and they become two staples of the franchise that find success because they are stars later on, then the Pelicans, you know, who cares? Who remembers the unprotected first they gave up? That's why so much of this is just, you know, conjecture at this point. But the through line I saw on almost every single write-up from Yahoo, ESPN, CBS, Sports Illustrated, all the word if. If Noah is this, then this is a great pick. If Modest and Noah can play together like this, then this is a great pick. Which, again, leads itself to Bulls fans thinking about project picks and the way that the Bulls have handled, and AKA has handled project picks, the way that their development staff and coaching staff have handled project picks. If Noah and Modest can become reliable shooters, I believe it was Kevin Pelton who did the writing for ESPN, then they give Chicago a lethal combination of players that can shoot and have strength, length, and athleticism. Yahoo Sports said if the Bulls can develop Noah properly, then he clearly has the talent to be an outstanding player. Mm-hmm. Bulls fans, I think, are fair to feel a little wary of the if part of all of these evaluations because development of young talent has been a problem for them.
And that's something that is, to me, quite separate. Like, you need to have good infrastructure for player development, period. If you're any NBA team, if you're any pro sports team, you need to be able to set your young players and prospects up for success by having really good people in place to develop them. And so I think that's a separate conversation. But the piece that I want to focus on is this idea of process and outcome, process and results, right? We talk about this all the time. And so if, to me, like what you're talking about, Matt, in terms of like, if these things happen, to me, like the reason they're giving it a good grade is because the process was good. And that's encouraging, right? Like we criticize the process for this team a lot, but what they did was take a worthy swing on a guy who has upside, who was good value on the board in that position. And so I think that's like that's what you want on a team regardless, right? You always want to be able to say, we look back at our process and it was a good one, and we're going to live and die by that. On the other point, this is a results-oriented business, as Billy Donovan loves to say. And so you do need to produce. There does need to be outcome. You do need to have success, or heads are going to be on the chopping block. You have to make tough choices. And this is a zero-sum game where there are winners and losers. And if you aren't winning, then you're losing. And you have to figure out ways to find a competitive advantage and get back on top. And so I think that always starts with and reflects back on the process. And so for me, Essengue might not work out. Tyrese Thomas didn't really work out. Who are some other real high upside swing type of players? Patrick didn't work out, a 4th overall pick. But like Chandler Hutchison, who was a 22-year-old drafted 21st, didn't work out either, right? Denzel Valentine, who was 14th overall pick, who had played 4 years in college, didn't work out either. So there's no tried and true, this is going to work every time, and that's why the draft is what it is. But at the end of it, all you have is your process, and the results will come. It's like you live by the 3, you die by the 3. You have to shoot enough threes to compete with the rest of the league, and some nights you're going to make them and you're going to win, and some nights you're not. But if you can make them more often than not, now you're a winning franchise. And so I think it's the same thing with draft picks, with approach to trades, approach to accumulating assets. Like all of that stuff is interconnected by the idea of process and results. And it's hard to, even if you get good results on bad process, it's hard to replicate that. It's hard to make that sustainable. And so I think it's always better to have good process, because hopefully more often than not, that will lead to good results, rather than, look, we have an easy way to get the 40 winner. That's a good result, what we want. But the process was such that you're going to have trouble doing that every year. It's not going to be sustainable. You're not going to be able to improve past that. And so I think that's really a key with all these picks. And that's why we liked the modest pick when it happened. It was good value at the right time. It was the right process. And I think it's the same thing with Essengue.
Yeah, the draft is always about ifs. Unless you're like in the top 3 or something like that, or on deep drafts in the top 5, top 7 or something like that. But when you're picking 12, it's all about that if. And it's about if that guy can turn into something, if he can be something, if he fits in with this person like that. I think the difference is if you're saying that if with some kind of, with something behind it, you know what I'm saying? If it's not just saying you're listing off all the things they did do negatively, and you're saying, but if he gets it together, then you'll have a player. It's a little different when you're like, wow, he's got this, this, and this. Guys, if that develops on him, then you really got yourself something. So where it's been in the past for the Bulls, it was like, okay, I don't really see it, but if this guy turns into something, then he'll be something. So I agree with GOAT when he's talking about the actual process, because I think with these grades, nobody is disagreeing with, the player that they took and the talent that he possesses. So I think that's a good place for the Bulls to be in as far as the ifs are concerned, because your only concern with him right now is, hey, if he gets that 3-point shot together, it's not if he, becomes a good defender, or, if he, has a basketball IQ, or if his footwork is strong, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. It's those simple things. Like, man, if he gets a shot, he's on the floor more often than not in anything. And that's a great thing to say, especially when you're drafting, like I said, at number 12. So once you get outside of that number where, you get those for sure guys, everything becomes a if. You just want to be on the side of the if with some cachet behind it.
Yeah, I think the idea is like you want to miss doing it the right way. If you're going to miss, you want to at least be able to say we did it right. And I think he wasn't the perfect pick. I think I would have taken him there. I think I had him 3rd or 4th on my big board of Bulls players. It was Malawach, and then Colin Murray-Boyles, and then Essengue. And Malawach and Murray-Boyles were gone. So you take the best available. You take the guy that fits what you want to do and how you want to play, but that also has upside. I think it was the right pick at the right time. And so looking in a vacuum, I was very happy with it. To me, again, it's just about the process. And if we're talking about that in terms of the pick, it's also important to note it in terms of trades that didn't happen, opportunity cost. And that's where you start to have some criticisms with them, passing up on, what could be a really valuable pick in a really, really good draft.
Shad on sports in the chat saying, love my brothers from another mother, but how many duplicates does this team have? I like how you squeezed those things into one sentence. That's fantastic. Upside gets negated when you splitting minutes at every position. And I think that's another fair thing to point out. Like, all right, where does Noah fit in? We got to develop Julian. We got to develop Dalen. We got to, I don't know. Are we still trying to develop Patrick Williams? We got to figure out how Isaac Okoro fits into all of this. Older veterans that still need, some seasoning on them. And then, of course, Modest on top of that. How do we develop all of these guys who are going to be fighting one another for minutes? It's a fair question. And
how do they fit around Kevin Huerter?
Oh, my God. The other one I wanted to highlight just Sports Illustrated, and it's, another if. SI said, Essengue isn't as game ready as some of the other options on the board for Chicago, but he's an intriguing long-term option with length, versatility, and a feel for the game that are hard to find. If there's that magic word he hits, he could become a Pascal Siakam player, a Pascal Siakam-like player in time. So, look, again, there's the word if. I love a Pascal Siakam player comp for a guy the Bulls just drafted who's only 18 and a half. That's great if he hits. I, as a Bulls fan right now, I don't care about the more NBA-ready players part, because I still see this team as a long way from contending for anything real other than a Summer League championship, of course. So if you're going to swing big, because you need to find a Pascal Siakam level star to hopefully pair with Modest, who turns into a star, for this team to ever be good again. No shade on anybody. I'm not going to name names, but no shade on, but that's how I as a Bulls fan feel right now. So I'm fine with the big swings. It's just I'm glad you take a big swing. I'm also terrified at this team's track record of developing big swing players that are very raw and need the proper development. That's where it is. It's a double-edged coin.
Exactly. And that's, again, it's going back to, though, the trends and the history behind some of these picks. So in isolation, I think this was a good pick, but that's all you can evaluate it on right now, and sit here and say this time was a good process, and it might not end up, but you can't say the Bulls are only trying to win 40 games every year and then not factor in the argument that they drafted a huge boomer bust prospect in Noa Essengue. So to me, that's a sign that they are approaching this the right way. And I think that's a huge step forward for building back some, equity with the fan base in terms of trust. And it's going to take more than just this pick and last year's pick, which obviously turned out great so far. And Modest is going to have a long career. We'll see how it all unfolds. But all they can do is do one thing at a time to get themselves back on the right track. And that's why every misstep costs them, right? That's why everything, people criticize us or say that we're hating too much because talking about the mistakes. And it's well, every time you reset and try to think about it just in terms of its own piece in a vacuum, it's there's another one step forward, two steps back situation. And so I don't think that they've done anything to seriously harm their future yet. And that could still happen, a huge offer for Giddey, or if they had taken a player that everyone thought was going to be a bust in the draft, or, whatever it could have been. They haven't done that yet. And I think it's a low bar, but there's something to be said for that. And it's not to say that they're never going to do it again, or they can't mess up from here, because they certainly still can. But that's all we have right now, is to be able to look at this one move, the opportunity cost associated with it, and evaluate it as best we can in this moment based on what we process should be.
All right.
Real quick.
Go ahead, Dave.
Just real quick to answer that question, Matt. A time is at an end for some of these players on the Chicago Bulls. It's really that simple. The time is at an end for some of these guys. It's that seriously.
Big Dave with a truth bomb to wrap things up. We will pause the conversation there for now. But Bulls fans, feel good going into the holiday weekend, knowing that we got a bunch of A's and B's on our draft grades. This is good. These are good things. Quickly, Katie, before we leave, poll results, if you will. What do we got? I saw a bunch of people talking about hot dogs in the comments, but I couldn't see what the poll was.
Yeah, just a simple which 4th of July stapler are you most looking forward to? Fireworks
Beer,
was the runaway winner, 47%. Hot dogs number 2, beer number 3, red, white, blue desserts number 4.
Okay.
About none of the above. Can I get a
Yeah, do
salmon
I
burger
just
in?
hate 4th of July? What-
I'm sorry, Dave, did you say none of the above when one of them was beer?
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's wrong
it's
with
cool.
hot dogs and beer?
Yeah, I'd rather have a salmon burger. It's cool. Give me that. I'll take that.
Oh, yes. The good old 4th
None-
of July staple of a salmon burger.
Yeah, man. And my people don't have the same thing about 4th of July. So we look at just a little differently. Little bit differently, dog.
Fair
You feel
enough.
me?
Yeah. I'm guessing also our friend in Switzerland is like, what holiday? What are you talking about? Who these are hard times to feel super like USA. But doesn't mean we can't hang out with our loved ones and sit in a yard and eat some good food and have some cold bevs.
Enjoy it.
All
Yes,
right.
enjoy it.
We are off tomorrow. Have a great and safe 4th of July weekend for those of you who celebrate. If you light some fireworks, light it and then take several steps back to a safe distance. AK, I'm talking to you, buddy. Don't blow off your thumbs this weekend. And then we are also going to be off next Monday to start next week because we've got Saturday and Sunday shows for y'all next weekend while we are out in Vegas covering CHGO Bulls Summer League style. So have a great long weekend. We will be back unless news breaks. Knock on wood that it doesn't. Keep negotiating, AK, on Tuesday. I'll be at WL Sports where you can find Dave, Will the Goat, read his stuff, allchgo.com, Will_Gottlieb. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. Hit the like, subscribe. Shout out to the Queen, Kenny Duffy. See, Red be good, y'all.
We all silly like the mayor.